Hello Saddlers fans and welcome back to Saddlers TV for the third episode of the 2018-19 season. Today we're joined by defender Leahy, who will be discussing all things Walsall and a blossoming bromance between himself and Josh Janelli. Thanks for joining us today, Luke.
No problem.
So I think a good place for us to start would be the two games that we've had in the last 4 or 5 days really, and a good place for us to start would be our progression into the next round of the FA Cup. It was against your hometown team. Just talk us through what it was like to be involved in that game.
Yeah, first of all, it was a great game. I think for everyone to watch. It was end to end from the start, and thankfully we got the win and we're through to the next round on a team note. But personally, it was I don't think I've ever been so nervous for a game in my life. As soon as the draw was made, I was buzzing about it. My friends and everyone was messaging me and everything. So I had a couple of weeks to get prepared for that game, to be honest. People wanting tickets and that, but I didn't really get too involved in the tickets thing. I just thought I'd concentrate on the game, and yeah, when the Friday just gone, I was with my wife at home and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, just because I was meeting my friends after the game who were in the Cov end, so I had a lot riding on that game, and thankfully I played well and we got the win, and I've got the bragging rights until the 8th of December.
I think it was one of those games where you go 2-0, they pick it back to 2-2, and you're thinking at the time when it's 2-2, they looked like they had the momentum going their way, but something just clicked around the 60-minute mark where the tide just seemed to turn in your favour. The team seemed to find another gear, really.
I think that was from the Cov fans running on the pitch. I think that made us all want it a bit more, and to sort of shut them up and tell them that they ran on the pitch at 2-2. It wasn't like they were winning the game or anything. So I think that got a bit of fire in the belly, and we dominated from there. I mean, they had a few crosses in the last 6 minutes in the added time, but so when it went 2-2, we were a much better team. Whereas when we were 2-1 up, they were better than us. I
think, like you said, that they ran on the pitch at 2-2. It does get emotions come over you as a fan. I'm sure you'll know yourself being a fan of a football club, but at that point where that happens and you walk out onto a pitch before the game and you see that there's nearly 2,800 fans in the away end, does that almost give you that little bit of extra fire in your belly to go out and say, actually, you've wasted your journey? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think we were at 2:20 and the stadium was filling up quite nicely, and yeah, it just got you up for the game straight away, sort of thing. Even though it was 45 minutes before kick-off, you could tell what sort of atmosphere it was going to be, and we hadn't started games really well before that game, so the big thing for us was to start the game well, and we did that, and we went 2-0 up, and like you say, coming out was it was good, and especially being from Cov, me and Josh Janelli, we knew quite a few people in the stand, and when we were doing the running and the possession before the game, we were having a bit of stick from a few people we knew. So it was always nice to shut them up at the 96th minute.
And I bet it would have been nice for you to have scored in that, but Josh did score in it, and I think we saw from the photos of him scoring that you were involved in the celebrations. I bet it meant a lot to him as well to score in that game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think his mum and dad were there as well, so it was even better for him. If I couldn't have scored and I wanted anyone else to score, it would have been him. Just because we are from Coventry and we had people in the stand. I did have a free kick that I looked down at the ball and I done a little prayer to it, but look, it didn't come off. But yeah, I'm glad that he scored and we won basically.
And we move on from the FA Cup game into the Checker Trade Trophy. It was a game that was a little bit strange, really. That for those that were there, it was a game that both teams were already through. We talked a little bit earlier about off camera about finding the motivation to, as a player, to know that you're already through, knowing that game's going to determine whether you get a home or away tie. Just how difficult or easy is it for yourself to get motivated in a game like that, where you know you're already through in the group?
Yeah, well, I think both teams were through, so I think it was a little bit difficult, and I think I touched on it a minute ago, coming out 45 minutes before kick-off Saturday and having that atmosphere building, and then walking out on Tuesday to not many people there, it is difficult. I think what's big is, you know, a first tackle or a first header that, you know, gets the team up the pitch. I think that can sort of determine how it's going to go. And I think we went 1-0 down within 4 minutes, so, you know, it wasn't the best of starts, and we were lethargic, you know, from the start. But thankfully we're through, and that was the aim to get through in that little mini league. So we've done that, and we await the next draw now.
And obviously the draw's on Friday. One of the teams that we could potentially get a game, we were discussing this off camera, is Sunderland away. There is the possibility of us playing Sunderland 4 times in 6 games. Having not played them previously and them coming down, it would have been an all-glamour tie just playing them in the league. But now you have the possibility of playing them 4 times. Is it strange to know that could happen?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not too sure if that's happened before. You know, facing a team 4 times in the space of potentially facing them 4 times in so many weeks. I'm sure by the 3rd and 4th game we'll know them inside out, and likewise for them. But you know, we'll just take each game as it comes. The first game with them is on a week Saturday, so that's the only one we're bothered about for Sunderland at the minute. The rest will come after, but we've just got to concentrate on the next game. And
something you mentioned earlier was the atmosphere that the fans can create inside the Banksy Stadium. I think one thing that we're going to have to touch upon for that is the goal that you scored on the opening day of the season. It's special when there's a crowd of 5,000 plus there, and the opening day, the expectations are there, but they're not really knowing what to expect almost. But when you score that goal, it turns the game on its head, puts us ahead. Just what do you feel like when you're standing over that football, knowing that it could potentially go in? Yeah, no, it was on the other side, on the left-hand side. It was usually for a right footer, but I remember Gino getting tackled, and I remember just running for the ball and picking it up, and, you know, just not letting Zelly get closer, and just saying this was mine. I just had a feeling that, you know, I could produce a goal, and thankfully it went in. And I think the celebration, I jumped as high as I could, and I think it was a hot sunny day in the first league game this season. You know, although it's first league game this season, there's still pressure, because you always want to win that first game and, you know, set your stall out early in the league. And thankfully, it went in, and personally, I was over the moon, because I didn't have the best end to the season last season, and, you know, wondering what was going to happen this season. And I think that just sort of settled me down in for the start of this season. You talk about the end to last season. It was difficult for Dean to come in at that point, but then to have a full pre-season, I think it's shown the resilience that the team have got now to go 8 games unbeaten away from home at the start of the season, where our away form last year was so poor. Yeah. It's just, how different is it this year to have Dean implement his defensive work on you guys? Yeah, massive. You know, end of last season, the gaffer come in quite a difficult situation with the club and what had been going on. But, you know, I remember him saying his aim was just to stay in League One, and we did that. We did that by the skin of our teeth, really. But with a full pre-season and, you know, individual meetings and knowing what he wanted from me as a fullback, you know, I watched a lot of games last season trying to better myself, and knowing that what he wanted, I've implemented that in my game. And, you know, I think we're best at a 4-4-2. You know, compact and making it hard for teams to break through us. And with a full pre-season and knowing what he wants and on the training pitch every day, I think it showed at the start of the season, definitely. I mean, we took our foot off the gas for the last probably month, I'd say. But hopefully we're getting back to where we were at the start of the season. Like you say, 8 games unbeaten away. I don't think we won 8 games at all, or, you know, last season. So you can see the progress, and hopefully it continues. And you say that the 4-4-2, it does suit us better, but we have shifted to a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-4-1, however you want to look at it. Is it difficult for you as a player to be able to fit into and know different systems, or because you're a defender and you're part of a compact back 4, is it easier for you to know your role within that? Yeah, I mean, you've just named the few formations we've played. It's always been a back 4, so it is simple for the back 4 to stay in their positions. But
and even if we went 3-5-2, our wing back I'd say is my main position. But yeah, the fullback, the whole back four, has basically been the same this season, and we all know each other. We all know how we play. And yeah, I think, like you say, 4-4-2 is probably our best formation. But it is good that we can change different formations and go 4-3-3 or 4-1-4-1, and we've got the players to do that. So it's just up to the gaffer which formation he sees fit for the opposition.
And with the two at the top, we've got the opportunities to change there. Andy Cook, who's on 8 goals this season. We've got Morgan Ferrier in there. Josh Gordon, who's come in the last couple of games. He's implemented himself. He's put himself in place to give Dean a potential headache.
Yeah.
How good is it for you to know, especially because you're renowned for good crosses into the box, to have somebody like Andy Cook there who is going to put his body on it and try and get ahead on the ball? And I mean, in the last couple of games, he's picked up 3 goals in 4 at home. So it must be nice for you to know that he's going to be there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a different option as well if we're in our own half and we've been under a bit of pressure. We know that Cookie can hold it in and win a foul or get us up the pitch and just release the pressure on the back four. But yeah, like you say, the crossing, and you've just got to sort of float it in, and he'll be steamrolling through the defenders to get on the end of it, I'm sure. And then we've got different options, Flash and Morgs, who can run the channels and take a player on and be a nuisance, really. So we have got different options, but all 3 of them have done brilliant this season. I mean, the start that Morgs had was frightening, really. He was terrorising defenders left, right and centre. And then, like you say, Flash has come in and done a job and done very well. So I'm glad that the gaffer has to pick 2 out of 3, really.
And you say that you've got options. Another place we've got options would be on the wings. We'll start with Gina.
Yeah.
Bromance there at the moment. I think it's one of those ones that even if you're not at the club on a day-to-day basis, you can see, and I think that's something that's brilliant to have, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he's a good lad, we just click straight away, really, and we know we're travelling together, always winding each other up and always on the phone and FaceTiming. It's like, I try to get away from him sometimes, but he's always there, so he's a little nuisance.
And you say you were at home with your wife before the Coventry game, and I think I was talking to Josh before, I think it was the Coventry game, and he was saying that she has to put up with a lot of the banter between the pair of you.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a case of, if fans pay attention to your social media channels, they'll see his antics, we'll call them, with your photos. Just talk us through what it's like knowing that he's constantly going to be doing that to you now.
Yeah. It's just funny. I mean, we're travelling. He's just a funny lad, I just find myself videoing him, and something will happen with him, or he'll just do something which just cracks me up. And Lauren's got involved in it now, and she's like part of like the little group, I'd say, that he's always FaceTiming him. We're always talking to him and everything like that. So he's part of the family, I suppose. But the photos and everything, I've got some on my phone that I can't show you, but when we go away overnighters and everything, our room with him, and we're just constantly laughing.
But that's something that's good off the pitch, but it's also good on the pitch, because Josh has now sort of settled into a rhythm where you're both on the left-hand side. If you're going forward, you've said your preferred position would be a wing-back. Josh knows if you've gone forward, he's got to track back as well. I bet it's nice for you to know that he's going to do that. Yeah,
definitely. I think, our relationship off the pitch, it shows on the pitch as well, Like you say, if I go forward, he'll cover me, and if he's, wandered off inside, then I create our width going down the left. So, we work hard for each other, we work hard for the team, and if we're doing that, then, hopefully it can bring results.
And you mentioned earlier in the formation changes, the back four has been very similar this season. In the last couple of games, Russell Martin's come in as an experienced head in the back four, back five, whatever you want to call it. You've got yourself at 25, John Guthrie at 26, but then Jack is a young centre back who, along the line, you guys, along with Nicky Devlin, seem to be coaching him well into a progressive state.
Yeah, I think you forget Jack's 20 or 21 at times because he's on the pitch. He plays like he's our age. He's so composed and he reads the game, and you sort of forget that he is that young. And he was unlucky to get injured, and for Russ to come in, and Russ has done well. He controls the back four. He'll scream at you when he has to scream at you, and he'll praise you when he has to praise you. But the whole, let's say, back six: Nicky, Jack, John, me, Russ, and Robbo. We've all played a lot of games, and whoever comes in, I think it would never be a weakness. We're all strong. We're all we all know our roles and responsibilities within the team, and I think that will just put us in good stead for the rest of the season, having them options.
And you say there is strength there, but I think one thing that I know the gaffer would probably like to improve, and I'm sure you as a defence would like to improve on, is the clean sheets this season. There's not been as many as you guys would like. Is there anything that you think you can do to improve on that?
Well, on a Monday, or say it's a Thursday after a midweek game, we do watch the games back, little clips, and what we've noticed is they're coming from our mistakes. If it's like myself with the own goal, or giving away penalties or anything like that, it's coming from our mistakes. So I know it sounds easier, I know it sounds simple just to cut out the mistakes, but it's just some goals you get. I think with the spell that we were in a couple of weeks ago, everything was going against us. Deflected goals, like penalties given away, and own goals. We just need to stick together, and hopefully the clean sheets will come. Once we get one, I'm sure we'll go on a little run of getting a clean sheets, and we've got the boys up front to win us the games. So hopefully we can get that.
And you talk about own goals. Let's just talk about that one. What came into your mind when you slid in for it and saw Robbo in what we'd called no man's land, and the ball just nestling in the back of the net? I've got to say, pretty good finish.
Yeah, I thought that might have been on goal of the month, actually. I was disappointed now. I can't actually remember what was going through my head. I knew John was pushed up with his striker, and I seen the runner, so I just thought I'd track him. And I just thought, I don't want to bring him down or anything. I've just got to slide for it, and I've tried to kick it over my head, and it's just caught the end of my toe, and it's gone over Robbo, hit the bar, and went in. I think if that was an attacking thing, I would never ever. It would always go over the bar or anything. But I think that was when we were in a tough, we weren't playing at our best. And I think that's how football goes. It goes against you when the chips are down, and I think my reaction, I just hands behind my head like that and just lay on the floor because I knew that it was my mistake, and it was a great own goal, I suppose.
And rather than looking back like we have done, let's look forward. What are your aspirations for the season now? Obviously, we're about halfway through, a little bit less than that, but there's still a long way to go, isn't there?
Yeah, still over half the season to go. My aim at the start of the season again was to play every game, and like I did last year, and I'm on course to do that. I missed the Checker Trade game at the start, but to play every league game is my aim, and just to stay in the team and just keep progressing as a player.
I think at the start of the season, when we were on such a good run, I was part of the gang that were dreamers. Do you think at that point you do get a little bit carried away after a good start, or do you think it's good to have that belief that early on?
And now I think you have to enjoy it when you're winning, because a loss will soon come around the corner, and you'll be down again. You always have to enjoy winning a football game, no matter how you play. It's 3 points, or it's through to the next round of a cup. You have to enjoy it, and the so-called dreamers, I think it was on the coach on the way back. Me and Dobber would always, what if this, what if that? But we were just enjoying the run that we were on, and we took a few losses which sort of calmed us a bit down. And but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. You've got to enjoy every win. And at that time we went I think it was a home to Gillingham, away to Wimbledon, and away to Rochdale. We got 9 points, so we enjoyed it. Yeah,
it's always good to talk about the what ifs, and I think although we're 11th at the minute, we're not a million miles away from the playoffs, and it's a little bit like games higher up in, say, the Championship. If you string 4 or 5 results together, you can be back in there, and I think that's testament to the players that knowing now that last season, if you suffered a defeat, it was a case of it's another defeat.
Yeah.
Things weren't going well, but this year you've always looked for a reaction, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we have lost a game, we've always had a good reaction. Apart from a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Burton and Charlton. I think we lost the 2 consecutive games, but we were 11th. I think with 3 points from the play-up, from 6th. Our goal difference isn't the best, but like you say, if we string a couple of results together again, then we'll be up there in and around. So there's no need to panic or anything like that. We're still in November, and a lot can happen, and we're just enjoying it. Honestly, we're just enjoying playing football, going to training every day, and being with the group of lads that's in the change room. There'll always be a smile on my face.
And that's all we've got time for here on Saddlers TV. Thanks for joining us, Luke.
No problem.
And thanks for joining us, Saddlers fans. We'll be back next time with another player. We'll see you then.